Last year, the Peoria District voted on a policy that got rid of DEI programs. It was adopted during a federal executive order at the time. Now, the NAACP is questioning whether these books have any ties to DEI. Grades 6, 7, and 8 in the Peoria Unified School District will no longer read these 3 books as part of the curriculum: A Raisin in the Sun, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, and Summer of the Mariposas.
We have a major concern. Who was behind the decision making, and how was that decision making? Um, how did it come about? What was the review process? Who was involved in that process? Who made the selections to target these particular books and our authors?
Were we teaching DEI?
During a governing board meeting last week, district officials claimed that the books contain racial slurs, profanity, sexual references, and other content that was deemed too graphic for K through 8. The board already faced criticism after approving an anti-DEI policy last year. That policy removes education programs focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. During that meeting, board members argued that these books were removed because of the material, not the newly adopted program.
It clearly follows the pattern.
Carrie Cooper, who sits on the board for the NAACP, says the community has brought several concerns over this, one being that teachers are afraid to teach the wrong things in the classroom.
It really just encapsulates, our learning professionals into a box. And so it's not just the books, but it's the broader picture. And then to your point, when we talk about DEI, the way it's being defined in this package, we also have to be concerned, not only about slavery, but the other parts of American history that are equally important.
I asked the district for a statement regarding the complaint tonight, but I have not heard back yet. However, the NAACP tells me that they have a meeting with board members next week and that board members agreed to sit down with them and revisit this conversation. I'll keep you posted on how that meeting goes. Reporting for Arizona's Family tonight, I'm Stephanie Dupre.